quite simply, the Hunger Report tells us that we are facing with monumental problems. But the beautiful thing about the Hunger Report is that it also shows us that the solutions to these problems are actually quite simple. And we laid those solutions out so that we all can learn from them and act such that we don't have to face those problems in the future. In the Hunger Report, we've suggested that there are ways to envision trade policy in a very constructive way, such that trade policy and clean energy development do not actually have to be conflicting. We can create trade policy such that it can support clean energy use throughout the world. One way to do this, for example, the World Bank study shows that there are currently tariff barriers between 7% to 14% on clean energy products around the world. So we can work to reduce or eliminate such tariff barriers, and that would increase the supply of clean energy and climate-friendly products, and thus decrease the price of those products, and that will allow low-income populations to access such goods. We understand that developing countries have to produce, and so they have the potential of actually ramping up emissions and pollution and carbon in the atmosphere. However, there are ways that this production can occur in a climate-friendly atmosphere. One way that we can do this, and trade policy would actually be quite effective in this, is to allow transfer of technology from developed countries to developing countries. One example I can give you on this one is that in the United Kingdoms and the Netherlands, there are about 6 meteorological stations per 10,000 square kilometers in each of these countries. In African countries, there's sometimes one. A lot of them don't even have any such weather monitoring stations. So we can allow trade policy and open it up such that this technology can be transferred to developing countries so that they can meet the harmful consequences and prepare for climate change. One of the things that we're witnessing is that people are apt to not address climate change as clearly in developed countries because the worst effects of it currently, in particular, are being felt only in developing countries. The future disastrous consequences of climate change are also going to be felt only in developing countries. So I think there is a tendency for people in developed countries, let's say North America or Western Europe, to perhaps take a wait-and-see approach, which is not the right way to handle this, because not only are we ignoring the suffering that people in developing countries, the vast amount of humanity is facing, but we are also sitting on what I would like to think as a time bomb, because eventually these effects will reach us, and if we don't act right now, it might be too late. To learn more about the 2010 Hunger Report, visit www.hungerreport.org.